Before we start, what are a couple things that we know about the rainforest? Before we talk about it, what do we know about it right now? What do we know? Tell me one thing.
It's rainy there.
It's rainy. True. What else?
Almost always wet.
It's very wet there. Yep.
There's a diverse population of animals.
Lots of different animals. Good.
Like humidity.
Very humid. Yep. What else?
There's deforestation happening.
Deforestation. That's a great word. We'll talk more about that. Yes, back there.
It's by the equator.
It's by the equator. Very good. What else?
Some of the plants are used for medicine.
Very good. So their plants are used for medicine, things like that. Anything else that we can think of? Yep.
Very green.
It's very green. Yep. Lots of things grow there. Yep. All right. So those are all great things. We'll probably mention just about all those. But in general, a rainforest. We know that in northern Minnesota, in a place like this, rainforests can't grow here. It needs to be a very warm climate, a very humid climate, like we heard from some people. If we look here on our map, rainforests are almost always found around the equator, around the warmest parts, the most humid parts of the world. Okay, so there's kind of three big rainforests in the world. The Amazon rainforest, which is the largest, and we'll talk about that today. There's also another big one in Western Africa, and a third big one in Southeast Asia. So all these are different rainforests. They're all kind of unique in their own types of ways. But today we will we'll focus on the Amazon rainforest. So the Amazon rainforest. If we look at our map here of South America map, you can see how big and massive the Amazon rainforest is there. It takes up, I'd say maybe a quarter or a third of the total area of the continent. So it's clear how big it is and how important it is to these countries. Like Brazil, you can see how much of Brazil is covered with it. Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, all these countries have a large part of their country inside this rainforest. All right, so a couple of quick things. Rainforests in general. You might have heard this in a science class or something like that, but rainforests have 4 layers, and each layer is kind of unique and defined by a few different characteristics. The top layer of the rainforest, the emergent layer. Now this is the layer that, this is the layer that is way, way up there, the very tops of the trees. All right, so obviously it's going to get a lot of sunlight up there, which means lots of sunlight, which means lots of things are able to grow, able to have very strong nutrients, things like that. These things are 130 feet up to 250 feet up. Think of how high 250 feet is. That's way, way up there in the trees. And so these trees are so tall and so huge in the size that they are. So this is the tallest layer as well as it's very windy. It'll be very warm up there simply because you don't have that kind of protection that the other plants provide. All right. The next step down from the emergent layer is the canopy. Now this is kind of like the main level of the rainforest. If you think of when you see rainforests in movies and things like that, this is probably the level that they're going to focus on. In this area, it still gets a lot of sunlight. It's very dense because of that. There's lots and lots of plants that grow there, and there's lots of animals that live there as well. And so it's extremely dense in terms of that. This one is still way up there, up to that 130, 150 feet off the ground. So it's still way, way up there in the trees. But as you can see from this picture here, look at how thick this is. I mean, you can't really even see through this because there's so many trees and plants. The next step down would be the understory. Now the understory, obviously because of the canopy, takes up so much of the sunlight and a lot of the water as well. This layer doesn't get a lot of sunlight. Only 2 to 5% of sun actually makes it through. As you can see from this picture, not a lot of sunlight is getting down to this area. And so this layer, it's going to be a little bit darker. Not as many plants, and ferns and trees are gonna be growing in this area. But, so you're gonna see a lot of plants that do grow, they're kind of smaller, they don't need as much sunlight to grow. As well as the nutrients in this area, they're not as good as they would be if you go up to the canopy or something like that. Right, and then our bottom layer is called the forest floor. Now the forest floor is kind of unique because there's almost no plants that reach this area of no sunlight that reaches this area of the rainforest because it's all kind of blocked out by the canopy and the trees above it. So if you think about it, you could go outside right now, it's the middle of the day, it's sunny, but if you're on the floor of the Amazon rainforest, it's still gonna be super dark in the middle of the day because of all the sunlight is all blocked out. So almost no plant life. The plants that you do see down there, you'll see a lot of leaves and sticks and things that kind of fall down. There's not gonna be a lot of plant life. Decay happens very quickly in this area. And there's lots of these large roots and things like this that you'll see throughout this area as well. All right. So as you can see, all four of these layers of the rainforest, they kind of have their own unique qualities to them and things that make that stand out from each other. And because of that, there are different animals that live in each layer, and there are different plants that live in each layer, and things like that. All right, moving on here. So we know that we've learned a little bit about how the rainforest is set up, but why is it so important? Well, the rainforest provides us with tons of different things. We heard a few of these earlier when we were going around the room, but for starters, it provides the home to so many plants and animals. There's thousands of species of both animals and plants that you can only find in the rainforest that are very unique to this part of the world. Right? It also provides protection from flood, from drought, from erosion, things like that, because of the roots that kind of hold all the soil together, because of all these plants that are so important to the ecosystem of the rainforest. It also helps provide with lots and lots of oxygen. As we know, the trees in general provide the world with so much oxygen. If there's millions of trees, it's obviously going to provide tons and tons of oxygen. And also, it's a great source for medicine as well as for foods. A lot of the medicines that you guys take or that we take, if we get sick or something like that, there's a good chance that there are parts of that medicine that came from the rainforest because they're unique plants that kind of only come from that part of the world. So it's very, very important in these ways, but it's not always being protected at the same time. Someone mentioned earlier about deforestation. Now, what deforestation is it's a big word that simply kind of means cutting down of trees to clear the area for some other type of activity. All right? Now, every single day, or every single minute, 150 acres of trees are cut down. Now, an acre, I mean, that's a lot. That's almost, an acre is probably bigger than the size of a football field. Now, if you think about that, do that 150 times in 1 minute. Cut down that many trees. And it's happening, it's not just in one area. I mean, it's all over the rainforest that are being cut down and things like this. As you can see from this picture, I mean, this whole, before the deforestation, this whole area would have been filled with trees. And you can see how thick and how dense they are. Now, this area is just totally cleared out, and they cut down all of these trees. So it's happening a lot, and it's kind of a big kind of hot topic that people talk about because it's so important, the rainforest is, and if we continue doing it for years to come, there's a good chance that we're going to lose most of the rainforest. So, deforestation. Why do people want to cut down these trees? Well, there's a few different reasons. The biggest reason why is people want to use it for cattle ranches. Now, if we drive through the countryside, especially if you drive through Wisconsin or something like that, you'll see tons of tons of cows out grazing in fields and things like that. That's what they shoot for deer. But in Minnesota or in Wisconsin, if you put cows out and they eat the grass, it'll just grow back the next year. Down in these humid areas in the Amazon region, it's kind of different where these cows were to say eat the grass from a certain area. Once that grass is still gone, it doesn't automatically grow back. So that means that they're gonna go, they're gonna cut down some more trees and just move their cows or cattle off to a new area. All right. Also, commercial farming is big. That means people want to plant things, they want to grow things, produce crops, things like that to eat and make money. Also, logging is a big deal. There's some trees, very unique trees that are only found in the Amazon. So these trees, let's say we make a cabinet out of it or a desk out of it, means unique wood is going to make it expensive, means that they can make money. So that's a big one. And the last one is mining. That's a big one as well. So all four of these reasons are kind of factors that play into the reasons for deforestation. All right, done with the sad stuff. Now the kind of the cool stuff of it. So there's tons of different animals that live there. These we'll go through a few of the animals, the unique ones, and you guys can check it out too. So number one, we've all heard of sloths. They're super slow. They live way up in trees. Probably most sloths in their entire life, they never even get down to the forest floor. They just stay up in the trees. They live up there. They find their food up there and things like that. Yeah.
I thought that like every 3 days they went down to the floor to use the restroom.
Is that true? I haven't heard that.
And it was like a whole day's trip to go and die.
Doesn't surprise me. But all I know is they live up in trees and they pretty much spend their whole life up in trees. Yes.